and I think it's not a good choice.
Yeah, not happy. You can see just from the body language, I think it's not a good choice is the understatement of the year there. It is too hot for the soft tyres, definitely. Everyone who's coming through on them is complaining about them. Breen, in fact, as we say, had 2 hards, 2 softs. Kopecky, 4 hards. Kubica, we think, has 4 softs and 2 hards. So hopefully he'll have managed to get a couple of hard tyres on. Sarazan has a pair of hards, so does Leandri. Ancillon 6 softs.
Now this is visually the most spectacular part of the stage for me. I mean, it's fantastic to watch these short, sharp corners, but just seeing them power out of the hairpins. I mean, this is the stuff of rallying legend. You get these fantastic spaghetti drape roads. We're going to see what Kubica's done, and it's a 15.31.
8 seconds down. So Kubica was 11 down on Breen after the first stage, which was 27 kilometres. He's only 8 down on this stage. So the deficit, it's a 25k stage, that's 2k shorter, but it's a smaller deficit per kilometre. So Kubica may be getting on top of the DS3.
And that sets him in very good stead for the rest of the rally. He could actually build himself a chance to win the whole thing here.
Just needs to sensibly build that pace.
Is everything okay?
Yeah, everything okay. Difficult stage. We have some issues with the brakes, but all fine. I will have to go quickly because the brakes are burning.
Tyres good?
Tyres
good? We have cross hard and soft, so it was very tricky, very difficult. No experience with these tyres, but so far it's going okay.
Okay, so hard and soft tyres, as we said, a mixture of them on the car. He wants the door shut, wants to get away, so we need to go quickly. He had a problem with the brakes, Kubica, in fact, in the first stage as well. Looking back, around half of the first stage, he had a problem with the brakes, and that appears to be that they are massively overheating. Now, there's a couple of reasons for that. It could be the wrong brake compound in there. It could be that he's left foot braking too much. So you'll find that certainly a gravel driver, which Kubica we wouldn't regard as, may use his left foot on the brake too much on a tarmac stage and can overheat the brakes. But whatever it is, the team will look into it, I'm sure, and we'll see Kubica on song. But to find that he's only lost, I mean, if he had half the first stage, lost 11 seconds, same problem on this one, lost 8. If we can get the brake problem sorted, I think we could see Kubica on the pace of the top guys. We might have a fight on our hands.
Certainly in with a shout of the podium here. Kubica is second overall, of course, at the start of this stage. As Andrew said at the top of the show, he's shown good pace, but he's crashed on both occasions in the ERC today. So let's see what Sarazan does. 13.1 away, so that's very good pace again from Sarazan, considering that he stepped into the Mini for the first time ever on Monday.
Now, this car has good pedigree. This is the car which won the event last year.
Yeah, indeed, it was Danny Sordo driving that 12 months ago. So Sarazan has definitely got to grips with this car quickly. He said, I only need 1 day, really, to get used to the car. Love it when drivers have that amount of confidence. That's confidence, not arrogance there.
Stefan, 13 seconds down on the leading guys, but are you happy with that run?
Yeah, it was okay, but very difficult stage. After the first one, we are in a soft tire, so it's moving a lot. But we did a good stage. I have to push a bit more, you know, but since September I didn't drive on rally, so it's tough to keep the pace, so I have to improve myself.
You're getting more and more experience with the car?
Yeah, it was my first stage this morning on the wet with this car, so, and first stage of my life with this car, so I have to learn, and we'll push for it.
Well, all the drivers are singing to the same songbook, aren't they?
Yeah. Sarazan said he started too slow on the previous stage. He was plus 23.7 seconds on the first one this morning. Seems to have got his head around the car a little bit more. We know the Mini is capable of winning here, or certainly was last year. Different competition this year.
We're on board now with a rather highly rated Italian, Lorenzo Bertelli, racing this year in the WRC2 category as well as the ERC. His mentor was Piero Liatti, so he's certainly learning from top pedigree. For those of you who wonder where his background is, well, he is the son of the Italian giant of fashion, Miucci Prada.
Won't be short on cash then?
Probably won't be short on style either.
I don't think Prada do race suits, do they, at the minute? It's maybe that's something they need to look into. A Prada onesie.
Bertelli doing a good job on the stage at the moment, trying to keep pace. It's I don't want to try to be mean to the drivers, but this is the time when we're going to start to see drivers pushing a little bit hard, perhaps, through the course of the stage. So far, the drivers have been pretty much nailed to the circuit, but as you go lower down through the echelons of the categories, through the echelons of the class, you're going to see drivers do varying different degrees on the stages. Now, Leandri crosses the line, and he's done a 16:06. That's
Plus
very
43,
slow.
yeah. So
you won't be happy with that at all. That's 43 seconds adrift.
well, he was 15th, as I say, in Canarias, so it'll be interesting to, you know, I'm not necessarily expecting him to be bang on the pace. There were 10 drivers. People said there were 10 drivers who could win here, but for me there were 6. There's the 6 who are currently at the top of the leaderboard are definitely just in that league, which is above these guys. Like you're saying, some of these guys who are coming through still very, very good rally drivers nationally, but we are talking about an international championship, and we can expect them to be a little bit further off the pace. Here we go. Let's see what he's got to say.
Jean-Mathieu, end of stage 2. How is the stage?
J'ai des problèmes de frein. Depuis le début, je pompe sur la pédale et j'arrive pas à rouler. Et puis on a des pneus tendres croisés, donc la voiture bouge énormément. Donc bon, on a fait du mieux que je pouvais avec ce que j'avais. Donc on va essayer de faire mieux au prochain tour.
So he definitely mentioned the brakes and the pedal. So I'm assuming another brake issue there, similar maybe to Kubica's.
Issue as well with the tyres, I think I made out as well. So again, I think a lot of the drivers are being caught out a bit on the strategy here. The thing is, this morning it was so different in terms of conditions.
It'd be interesting to know how bad the weather was overnight. You know, to have standing water, we're not talking about dew, you know, from overnight. We're talking about heavy rain overnight. So, you know, if they've looked at the conditions possibly in the service park, then they've done a long road section up to the mountains, headed off, couple of stages. I'll need to see my schedule to figure out when they're back to service. So it is after this, so they come back to service after this. So it was a loop of 2 stages, so you know most of them have taken softs. I was a bit surprised by Ancillon taking 6 softs. You know, as a general rule, fantastic shot of the helicopter, our wonderful pilots. Been with the ERC and the IRC for years now, so the very best pictures you see from this championship are thanks to those guys. But yeah, Ancillon gave himself no choice by taking 6 softs. Most of the other guys have taken a pair of hards, and I would assume in most cases they'll put the hards on the front just to give themselves a little bit more accuracy with the front end, and also because obviously the front end is doing more work. Down towards the finish now for Bertelli. Finish warning boards there, the yellow ones, the red ones here at the flying finish over the line.
16:26, that's a long way off.
Let's see where he was after the first stage.
Bertelli, I believe, was down in about 14th place.
11th.
Oh, no, he was 11th,
yeah,
my apologies.
You're right though, Jake, plus 52. You know, he's, again, as I say, very good driver, but there's 6 guys who are in this to win it, and it's going to be fantastic to see how that pans out over the weekend. These guys are the supporting cast, and they'll certainly be there if any of those top guys throw it off the road. Here we are, Breen currently leading from Kopecky, Bouffier, Kubica, Sarrazin and Ancillon.
But overall, of course, it's Kopecky that's really the big gainer.
Lorenzo, end of the second stage. Obviously learning this car, first time in it. How is it going?
It was okay. The problem is that we took 2 spare soft, and it was better to take 2 hard. And I suffer a bit with this kind of car also because I used to race a lot of gravel, and my drive is not so clean, and so the tires suffer more than maybe other pilot, and I have to clean a bit the line, but it's okay.
So he needs to tidy up his style, basically saying that he's used to driving on the gravel, moving the car around a lot, and with this he needs to get on the brakes in a straight line, get the car turned, then get back on the gas again. He's not quite there yet, but he knows that, he's learning. Over the weekend we'll see which direction his time's going. Manzagol now coming through.
Yes, indeed, Jean-Marc Manzagol in another Peugeot 207, similar to that of Jean-Mathieu Leandri's. Privately entered, with Etienne Patron sitting alongside him, reading those pace notes away. He comes through the finish in 16:12. That's actually very good pace. 49.2, so he's
not bad at all. He's in 9th.
A lot quicker than Bertelli was.
Give you an update overall. Craig Breen now leading by 19.5 seconds from Kubica. So Kubica was 11 seconds up. It's now 19.5 seconds back to him. 25.3 Bouffier off Breen. Kopecky 25.6. So he did these 0.3 of a second back from Bouffier. Didn't quite manage to leapfrog him. Sarrazin in the Mini is plus 36.8 and Delacour is plus 56. So a minute now separating the top 6, the top 4 inside 25 seconds.
So let's see what Jean-Marc Manzagol has to say.
Jean-Marc ended the second stage, and the conditions much different to the first stage.
This one was very good on the road, but I have 2 more soft tires for the 2 first.
Difficult conditions. Are you learning the car?
Yes, I am learning the car a little bit, and I hope to be faster now.
Well, he's in that little gaggle of drivers just outside the top 6. 4 Frenchmen who finished the day 7th through 10th. We have Morin, here he is, in fact, Manzagol, Marchi and Boniface.
There'll be a decent fight between them, you know, and a bit of French honour at stake as well on the Corsican island. So Julien Morin on your screen at the moment. His father owns a whole load of Ford dealerships, which is why you'll only see a Ford badge pretty much next to his name on all the results of all the rallies he's ever done. This year he's been doing French tarmac. He won around the French tarmac championship, Rally Leon Charbonnet.
That's not bad pace.
Very good.
27.2 off green. That's very good.
Yeah, and he was on a similar pace on stage 1, 29.4. He was 7th. So Morin joining those guys up at the top, just quicker than Delacour.
So that means he's actually going to be having a sniff of the top 6 if he keeps this pace up. This is very good indeed from Julien Morin. We said there were only 6 drivers really in competition for the victory. Well, for those who are having a sniff at the lower positions, I think Morin is really in the box seat for it. Brilliant driving from him. Keep an eye as well on Germain Boniface. We may well see him before the end of the hour. 10th place at the moment overall, leading in the 2-wheel drive category. And he's in a battle with Robert Cassani and Pierre Moreau.
Julien, you're just having a look at the time. Is everything okay?
No, we lose the brake on 5 kilometers between the finish because I have a soft rear and hard in front, so the car move very hard. And for keep the road, we brake, and but it's okay.
For our English viewers who are interested in the progress of Molly Taylor, currently 10th in 2-wheel drive.
And our Australian viewers too. I think we're going to take a short commercial break.
Sunny skies and a bone-dry road has welcomed the drivers on stage 2 of the Tour de Corsica. Craig Breen, fastest man through the second stage, and it means that overall he is 19 seconds clear of Formula 1 star Robert Kubica. So that's the update so far from the first couple of stages. We've also had our first retirement. We've just got word that Jean-Do Matai in the Skoda Fabia has blown his engine, so that really is the end of his rally at the very early stages. At least he doesn't have to hang around too long if he wants to make it to the airport.
Indeed. Pro over the finish line, 1:27.5 down. Again, not particularly unexpected, was 20th after the first stage with 1:20. To the leaders, if you were with us just before the break, Morin set a decent time. He was 7th on the stage and he slots into 7th overall, but he's plus 56. Very, very close to Delacour. Got a couple of fights appearing up and down, particularly close between 3rd and 4th and between 6th and 7th.
Yes, indeed. There's only 0.6 of a second between Delacour and Morin. That's amazing pace from Morin. Here's Jean-Michel Raoult.
Jean-Michel, hot after the second stage of Corsica. How was that stage?
Yes, yes, very good. No so much rain and on the road, and it's very good. But for me, it's just the first time in race on this stage, so with just 2 passes, it's very, very difficult.
So referring back to the recce there, just 2 passes on the recce to make the notes, and that's where the advantage that I mentioned earlier on of people like Breen who are returning to the island. Several of the drivers returned to the island. Sarrazin, in fact, was here last year driving the Zero car, which you might be pleased to hear Chris Meek is driving. So Chris Meek is in the Zero car this weekend. It's a 208 R2, 2-wheel drive 1600 car. We're looking at Jaroslav Orsak in the